Welcome to session 2. This is called A Biblical Foundation for Fasting. And we're going to jump right in to Mark chapter 2, verse 20. The context of this verse is that the Pharisees have asked Jesus why his disciples do not fast. And his answer to them is when the bridegroom is taken away, that is when they will fast. And so the time that Jesus is talking about is right now, and it applies to us. Jesus has been taken away from us, and that means that this is the time for us to fast. Similarly, in Matthew chapter 6, verses 16 through 18, this is what is known as part of the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus's most well-known sermon that he ever preached. And in these 3 verses, he's talking about 3 specific things. And he says, when you pray, when you give, and when you fast. And he goes on to explain, do it like this, but don't do it like this. So it is important to point out that Jesus says when, not if. It's not a matter of if you choose to fast, do it like this, don't do it like this. He's saying, no. When you fast, this is how you do it. Some people consider these 3 things some of the most basic tenets of Christianity. Yet many Christians have never fasted. My wife and I are actually on day 10 of a 21-day fast right now. And I know many of you might be thinking, David, you're not supposed to tell people that you're fasting. Matthew 6, it also says that God will only reward you if you do it in secret. You just lost your reward. Now, I personally believe that the secret place that Jesus is talking about is actually the secret motivations that are in our hearts. And so Jesus says, those who fast for the praise of other people, that's all they are going to get. So is the motivation of your heart the praise of other people or deeper intimacy with the Lord? Is, I believe, the question that Jesus is asking us. Also in chapter 6, verse 6, Jesus gives us similar instructions on the topic of prayer. He says, when you pray, go into your room, close the door, pray to your Father who's in heaven. Now, does this mean that if you've ever prayed together with another person or in a group of people, or if you've told someone, I'm praying for you, that means you're never going to get what you prayed for? Of course not. Does that mean that you're doing prayer all wrong? Of course not. Jesus is just challenging you and me to check the condition of our hearts, to make sure that there's no hypocrisy or self-righteousness. If we're never supposed to tell others when we are fasting, then why do we know of so many people in the Bible that have fasted? None of the fasts in Scripture were ever secretive. If they were, then we wouldn't know about them. Moses, Daniel, Esther, Paul, Anna, Cornelius, Jesus fasting for 40 days in the desert. The only reason why we know about these fasts is because they told other people and those people wrote it down. In fact, many of the fasts that we see in the Bible were actually corporate fasts. Ezra, Nehemiah, Joel, Samuel, Barnabas, these people were part of a group of people and called other people to participate in these group fasts. They were not secrets. Again, the Pharisees, it seemed like they fasted for the sake of appearances. It seemed like they wanted to look super spiritual, maybe in order to manipulate and control others. If you are wondering, man, what if the motivations of my heart are selfish? I would encourage you not to delay a fast out of fear. Instead, I would encourage you just to simply ask God to purify the motivations of your heart as you fast. Fasting itself can be incredibly sanctifying. It's an instrument of extreme spiritual power. It is not fun. It's not easy, but it can awaken in us a deep desperation for God. And Matthew chapter 5 says that we are blessed when we hunger. So if you have hit a spiritual wall in your Christian life, if you're tired of the same old scenery in your relationship with Jesus, I challenge you to take some serious action. because everyone dies, but not everyone truly lives. I want to invite you even to join Essie and I in our fast right now. And let us know if you're interested in joining us. We would love to have you.